is the voice almost is first, and then the animation is built second. But a video game, just to give everybody an understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, you might have to do 3 or 4 punches, because you might have to do a punch that is at full power and then lesser power when you're damaged, especially if you have characters that have power-ups, like you have a 20% boost in some video games when your health is lower. So
Yep.
what is that like, really getting to do all those maneuvers, and then also you can do a video game in many ways out of order versus anime that sometimes has to be done in order.
Yes. So you're right on all that. And it's interesting how video games will typically be done. You'll have some very narrative heavy games. There's one I work on with a developer out of Austin called Red Star Azimuth, where it's very narrative heavy. And so it's being directed like it's an animation or a screenplay going line by line. But then, so Smite or Nobunaga's Ambition Taishi were just like you described, where the client might be listening in, but it essentially comes down to give them 3 takes, move on to the next line. Give them 3 takes, move on to the next line. You'll have 300 lines that'll be there. And if something goes a little bit off, the client will go, okay, I think either you're losing the voice or I didn't quite like that. Can we get one more? So there's a lot of self-directing with that. And it's mostly just getting everything that they need, because they already know from the audition, they like what you were able to put into this character. And so you're just building upon that for the lines where it's double kill, triple kill, quadra kill, so on and so forth. And you'll, for a lot of battle reacts, those are the stuff that will cause damage if you're not careful. And there's been some back and forth. A lot of clients in particular who have really tried to make sure that voice actors' ability to perform can be preserved because of the risk of that. Because if you need to do 3 death yells, then you're doing funky vocal placements. You're doing something that, if it's done too hard and you're not careful about it, you're going to wreck your voice for the rest of the day and need some time to recover. And long term, there's a story, actually, the first voice actress who played Excel in Excel Saga, she had to be removed from the project because her doctor said, if you keep doing this, you will lose your entire voice and it will be irreparable damage. So it's nice that a lot of clients try to help preserve that. And it also does in many cases pay. It's not, video games often tend to pay a good amount for the work, one, because of how big the business tends to be, and two, a little bit of hazard that is involved, and it depends client to client, market to market.